It's been a journey. I loathe the word and I loathe the concept, but for us it has been. We started out 30 odd years ago as two very, very young, passionate people. 30 plus years ago, we sat on a beach just west of Ceduna and started talking about an experimental blue crab fishery that was starting up in South Australia. Started fishing in a dinghy, and he now has gone through a range of boats to get to where he is, and I'm incredibly proud of him. I grew up on a family farm and married a fisherman. Dennis is a second generation fisherman, but also from a primary production background, so we both are very definitely connected to that primary production area and providing food to South Australia. So my name's Karen Holder, and my profession is as a complementary role to my fisherman husband. And I'm also active in the business in terms of financial, accounting and HR. We also have 3 children, of which we're very proud and have been an integral part of our life, and couldn't have happened without me, particularly in my role being at home. It's a very time-consuming job to be a fisherman. You're out at all hours, and in our case it's been 7 days a week for many, many, many years. We own a total of 220 tonne of crab quota in South Australia. The crab fishery is a quoted fishery, and that means that we have 33% of the crab quota here in South Australia. We send our crabs to Sydney Fish Market. Probably about 50% of our product goes to Sydney Fish Market. We endeavour to sell locally. We sell to a couple of local fish shops in Wallaroo. We also sell to Adelaide, which is the South Cole Central Fish Market. We catch fish on behalf of the South Australian public, one of very few fishers that lives and is actively fishing out of Adelaide. It's really important that South Australian people have access. It's always a fresh product, it is not frozen, and it goes fresh to Sydney, Melbourne, here in Adelaide. It means that the little fish guy in a corner shop can get it, or those bigger wholesalers have an opportunity to put their to purchase as well. So just recently I spent some time at Adelaide's finest supermarkets as part of a promotional campaign with Wildcatch Fisheries, and by the end I was really honing in on that message of fresh product. As I sort of spent some time with people, I could see that it was becoming important. So my greatest experience, probably the most exciting thing, is to go to Sydney Fish Market, which is the biggest fish market in the Southern Hemisphere, and to see our products sold there. That's a real buzz. A couple of years ago when we were in Sydney, we went to a restaurant that buys our crabs from the wholesaler, and we're able to have a meal that was eat there, and I have to say it was one of the most memorable meals I've ever eaten, so that's pretty special to have that sort of thing happen. But there's definitely peaks and troughs and opportunities. Some opportunities that I would never have expected to get, and others that you wouldn't want anybody to experience. The hardest part has been the downtimes. The fishing industry, my journey in the fishing industry has absolutely been one of peaks and troughs. Particularly would be when Dennis came home quite early in our time here in Adelaide, and the motor had blown up on the boat. We had to fix it. I didn't know how we were going to pay for it. So we're sitting there, how do we fix this? And you have to find a way through. Another time was when we received a phone call to say that Dennis's father had been lost at sea. That's pretty dramatic in anyone's terms. He drowned, and they never recovered his body until about 10 years later, when they actually trawled up his bones, his leg bones. It was pretty intense at the time, and I guess what that illustrates is that's the risk you live with on a daily basis. Every day that your partner goes out to sea, it's a risk they won't come home. And the double risk to that is you may not have a body, just in case he didn't come home, because we would all have to deal with that. And it's very real that not only have they passed away, so you have to deal with the unknown. You don't necessarily know if you'll get a body back to get an answer. We believe that it is everyone's right to be, they're doing a hard job and it is dangerous, but we do our utmost to make sure they come home. And it is definitely a dwindling profession. If you've got the passion, it provides great, it's very varied, and you will have lots of ups and lots of downs, and if you've got the passion, it can be incredibly rewarding, but there's definitely peaks and troughs, and you will come across all of them. From being, almost publicly berated about what you do, to, on the other hand, people just love your product and almost can't get enough of it. And to be at the supermarket the other day and a lady who clearly buys crabs every week, and I was able to say, well, you know what, they're actually our crabs that you're buying at Adelaide's Finest, because we're the only suppliers, and we've been doing that for about 12 months, and that was really satisfying to be able to do that and to connect to those people.
You're not so sure about?